Buddy. Audio and video are phones, text out, so now I just unmix.
Yep. Mhm. Now you can go.
Okay. Welcome to David Danica. Um, so this is the advisory committee on community appearance. Williams, partner of crime, Mr. Cunningham, is co-chairman. Council Shan, Peter Gulick. We're very lucky to have Peter back on the board. And thank you for, dealing with the meeting date time schedules. Just didn't. So the first thing on the agenda here is 397 Durham Road. I think is Mr. Klein. Okay, what is it that,
He's got his colors downstairs.
he's got the colors, okay.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, is that what this is here?
Yeah,
Okay,
window, just to give an idea. I mean, I wouldn't normally go with such a dark window, but the windows I'm using, they just have a limited selection and it just seemed, this isn't really black, it's sort of gray. It just seemed like the contrast was nicer than like a real light color. Yeah, because the other colors are very light. I mean, this isn't proportional, but I think proportionally or not scale, whatever it is, the trim will be a little bit thicker than that anyway, so, it'll kind of blend in, it won't be too obvious.
I like the gray better than black.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it's not black,
Yeah.
it's a gray, it's a fiberglass window, so it'll be very durable, and that's the color. Yeah, it's all baked in.
Right, should be that.
And then just, there's a couple color shingle colors, this was sort of just a regular charcoal. And this one actually has the fleck, matches that almost exactly. So I'll probably go with that. Like it.
And that gray background is what the building color is, or?
This is will
Yes.
be the building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
light kind of gray
Yeah.
green. And then I took that for the exterior doors. Under, and then I did put an updated facade, because we had talked about eliminating that column on the portico, which is fine. It was just, steel beam or blue lamp or something like that to bridge that. And then we put some lights in the doors, on the upper third of the doors. That was one of your suggestions.
Nice. Okay.
So I don't know if you want to see the facade.
I'd like to see the facade. Put it up.
Maria, I think they,
Facade photo.
yeah, or a photo of the drawing,
Yeah.
just to show any updates since the last.
Dated August 3rd.
Sounds about right, probably.
This one?
Yeah. So I think. Yeah, so here, I don't know if you can see it, but we limited, there was a third column, just a bridge, because that's like 20 feet. But somehow we'll figure it out with a beam or something to carry it. Yeah, it does lighten it up. I'm happy with it that way. It's just a little extra work. And then just adding the lights to the doors instead of having a blank door. And that's the only real changes since the last meeting.
Okay.
Anybody have any comments or?
I like the color scheme.
Or David's been through the ringer with this thing.
Wow, it's been fun. Been
Make a
like-
motion. Motion to approve the colors as presented and modification to the doors and. I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look, see you again next month, just.
Okay. Maybe I'll just become a member of the board.
And Benny showing up.
Did this, like, leave that here till
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Next thing is 1321
All right,
Boston.
see you later.
Is there anybody here for that?
Hold on just 1 second.
This looks like EV chargers.
Let's see
Isn't that,
here.
It's very well.
Which building? Is that the big brick building or is that?
That is Care for Vet, the vet building next to Dunkin' Donut. It used to be Pips or it used to be, I don't even know what it's after.
Easy.
Um,
Reminds me of the email.
Yes, there is somebody, let's see, wrote David Stout from Energy Resources. And bring him over as a panelist.
Does he know where they're going to be located?
Well, there must be something in our application file.
David? And there's a Chelsea too, raising her hand.
Oh, there. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Do I need Chelsea as well?
That could be Randy, or it could be Chelsea.
It says Chelsea.
Yeah, if you could add her, that would be
Sure.
great.
If you could just state your name and where you're from for the record. And do I need to share anything or do you have anything to share?
Well, I guess, well, my name is David Stout. I'm with Energy Resources. I'm from Niantic, Connecticut. We work with Eversource, installing level 2 EV chargers for commercial properties. And we have proposed to include two separate level 2 EV chargers at Carrefour for the doctor there. She would like to add EV chargers for her employees and for her customers' convenience while they're visiting her commercial site. Sorry.
I'm sorry, can I just ask a quick question? Is there not a site plan or anything, or there's not one up? Maria, is this the old power phone building?
Yes, I called it Pips, but that was a couple, yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, Power Phone building, it's right there. The Dunkin' Donuts is on
That's right.
the left and Power Phone is on the right.
Yes, so there's two sites. The site in the back would be for her employees, and the site in the front is for her customers. This has been approved by Eversource, an approved project, and we're, whatever we need to do, we obviously don't usually actually have to do any modification on zoning, but if we do here, we're here to find out what we need to do and how we can keep this project moving forward.
Do you have, I had a spec sheet. Do you have any other rendering I could share? It's very simple, but
Chelsea, can you unmute yourself? Oh, there we go.
I mean, it doesn't say if it's on a pole or anything.
No, it's probably just a stand and the charger sits.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small pedestal with the unit head sitting on top of the pedestal.
And David, the parking's not changing at all?
Parking is not changing. This would actually sit behind the parking spot, or as you pull into the parking spot on a pedestal, and there'd be the ballards around it to protect it from ever being hit.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Yep.
Bob, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, gentlemen and ladies.
Good luck.
Have a nice night.
908 Boston Post Road.
You don't want to take it happening, I think.
No, but you can slow your, you could slow your roller set so I could get onto the stuff online. 908 Boston Post Road.
So I think we know the site.
Do I have all of these online?
No, don't have them all online, but you have data collected. You have the base, the basic materials that you collected on this board.
Oh, it's the big one.
It is the main reconstruction of the house.
I got two of these doing.
And this is what this is part of what we're using. Oh. So what is there to let you know is it's a bunch of small improvements, changes, whatever. And it's for the simplest thing. Take a look here. Front of 2 units. 908, I'm guessing it's 910, whatever those students are. They want to take the simple single rectangular blocks of bluestone and actually have a concrete base and actually use an interlocking ashlar bluestone blocks here and here. That matches the walks that are in the back and it matches the other walks, the other units. These are just dropped in by the developer to sort of solve his need to get out of the project. They want to make it nice. So
They're wet bluestone?
they're just gray cleft bluestone.
No, I mean, you said they're going to be on a concrete base?
Yeah, that'd be on concrete.
So they're wet. That means-
not.
Well, that means this piece of bluestone, this is concrete footing,
Yes,
a base, 5-inch base.
yes,
And this is mudded down
yes,
with a grout between the.
yes.
Okay. No issue.
I like that word though. I never used it.
Are the walkways there? Are there walkways?
There are walkways there now, but they're just dropped in rectangular pieces and still about 3 feet wide, with like a foot in between each of the bus.
Okay.
Then the other thing, which is going to be quite visible, but it's actually an interesting thing. I think you know the story. You all are here. You know the story of this project. So we had the sad reality that this building that you see on the old building was not viable for saving. They had to remove it and replace it. Exactly. So when the Open Madison Historical Society and Madison Historical Commission, I basically brought all the materials we had to them. They those and wrote about it, which the commission person or a book about it or something. But it's like we said, look, this building has had a weird history. The main box is over 200 years old. Box on the left is the first floor was maybe 150 years old, 4 years old. The second floor is actually 130 years old. So It's had a lot of different generations. And also this generation you saw didn't have shutters. They should be shown shutters, all the rest of them. And basically the historic commission basically said, we want to go to this building, which you see on the right. And we did it, and we met the criteria, it was approved and all the rest of it. The owners, when the new owners came in, bizarrely, both owners are friends of mine, which is a strange reality, but they are both my friends. After it was built, bought the first time that she sold to my friends in this time, said, we don't feel great on that porch. We love it if we could have a handrail. I said, well, there was a handrail there. I mean, there was a barrier there. It wasn't 3 feet high, so it was a non-code compliant barrier. It didn't need to be because it wasn't high enough off the ground. He said, but let me draw this. So I drew this and these. There's unfortunate electrical panels there, and it's amazing. We found amazing with it. The Eversource allowed us to box in the utility units on the project. We had to further down the Boston Coast Road. And so we'd like to do that with PVC just to clean them up. Anyway. And so those things are really seen. The other things which are really not seen, but there is at present at the rear of the unit, in question, the west facing unit is a deck, because the previous owner wanted to have a deck, didn't want to have a terrace. So what we're doing is we're dropping the terrace to match all the other terraces with a stone wall, and again the same blue stone. What's that word to use? That's such a good word.
Well, it's either wet laid or so one's impervious, which you're intending,
Yeah.
and one's permeable.
Yes.
All the rest of the patios there are permeable.
Then we'll do exactly what that was. We'll do it permanent.
That's what I would
match.
That's what I think you're going to be a lot happier.
I think match. So that's what we're doing. So there's that, which is the back, and also they would like to have about a half wall here, so we put pots of plants along there. So essentially, this is of unanimous approval by the Historical Society. I've got to go from the Historic Commission. They've had a couple canceled meetings as well. We're going to do that. And I think then, Maria, we're doing something with planning and zoning, because it's the coastal district, something like that. So this is part of the dose.
Can I make one suggestion? I don't think those units on the bottom that are going to house the utilities, I don't think they should.
PCB wood?
Yes. What's the building?
Building is basically, as I remember, it's all wood.
I would use wood. I think you're going to be a lot happier. I mean, if the building is wood and it's going to need to be painted, these are going to age the same way. And I think when you change material attached to the building, I'm not crazy about that. Like, what is your new rail across there?
We just say painted. We suspect that you prefer that to be wood.
I'm gonna,
If everything else is wood, you.
I would say
Wood.
Yeah.
Wood. It's set, done.
Okay.
Right.
Huh.
Would you recommend Spanish cedar for that? I mean, I can't get a good paintable
It's
wood.
me. I've almost given up. Like, the problem is that the E-pit, if you're going to use, you're not going to use that. So I don't think anyone uses the old fir anymore, because it's
just crap.
It's crap. That's the problem.
And the only stuff that I can find that's a little tough and is similar is the Spanish cedar, not the American cedar.
Yeah.
The American cedar's also gotten really just porous and crappy. You know this stuff. What are you thinking?
I think Eastern Pine will be fine.
Good Eastern Pine.
It's gonna be painted.
So
They clear. They just put the cedar fence up in the walls. Which, by the way, looks really good now.
yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
I noticed one of Billy's peers.
Yeah.
So you're thinking Eastern Pine, clear Eastern. Yeah, I think it's pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It lasts quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be.
By the way, do you know Black Locust? From my office, Black Locust, you've got 200+ year old posts, and that stuff is more durable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing stuff.
That's what they used to make all the split ones.
Amazing stuff. I mean, I've never mind.
Great. Okay. Yeah, and then what?
I don't think so.
I would say permeable. It's the only thing I'd say.
Good.
It's gonna be a lot less.
Yes. Permeable
And
stuff.
then they remember. So just see, and this is up to you, how you guys if the stones are gonna be that far apart, well,
Yes.
that can either be the chip, the base product underneath the bluestone, or you could use what they have now. They have permeable palmeric sand.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't matter to you.
But I like whatever is the most compactable.
I put it all in crushed stone though.
So I didn't tell you this. They want to use, these are just these slabs of granite for steps. They want to go from 2 to 3 and have them be cut and clefted, so make sure I'm clear about it.
It's all looking. I'll make a motion to approve.
Did we make you cite the list of the things that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Well, why don't you just say, I make a motion to approve this present?
With the proviso that it's Eastern Pine.
Well, we want to.
Oh, we're gonna leave it up to, if they wanted to use a different wood than the Eastern Pine, let's say they got to the point where they couldn't find the Eastern.
Well, we recommend.
Yeah, just say we recommend painted wood.
And you also say, we recommend the
Permitted.
Yeah, okay, so, motion to approve with the provision that we move to is it Eastern White Pine?
I'll be sure. They can only say it.
Wood construction, yeah, wood construction and all the construction details. We would not like to see the PVC, and we'd like all the stone to be set on a crushed stone base with some type of palmeric sanding.
Second.
Any discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But I think he's back to.
Yeah, sure.
No, you have to leave at least one set since we don't have them,
I will absolutely do it.
or upload them to the application.
I just want to make sure I didn't do anything different than so there you go. Is it? Is it? Gentlemen, have a fabulous evening.
Thank you, me too.
And again, there's trees. Every
Let's
day.
hope they're watering them,
Well, they are.
not the irrigation.
Not irrigation, water irrigation. And then they just are growing beautifully too. They seem to be enjoying themselves.
Be good.
See you.
26 to 27 Britton Lane. And, is it for the farm project?
Yes.
That's one thing you-
Voting some people,
Yes, sir.
nope, or voting some people.
Hey, don't touch it.
Oh, we've got people,
I got people,
remote people.
I got some people.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Maria is I think representatives from SLR are on as well.
I think Paul D, I'm trying to get,
Paul,
yeah, and anybody else?
Paul, do you have anyone else from your team on here?
Oh, Alexi,
Yes, we have Alexi and Joseph should be on as well.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and they'll be on for the next 2 items as well.
sure, if they'll just stay in, okay, oh,
Hang on one sec.
Joseph. I think where'd Joseph go? And Joseph, that's everybody?
Yeah.
And everybody's a panelist, so everybody could share their screen, whoever wants to share.
Okay. All right, cool. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rob Russo. I'm the town engineer here in Madison. Just wanted to present the project. Well, next 2 items are town projects. This one is a sidewalk, crosswalk project that got started a few years ago when the chief of police received a number of concerns about the crosswalks on West Wharf and Boston Post Road, as well as Dudley Lane and Boston Post Road. As far as this application is concerned, we're going to be discussing the sidewalks and crosswalks on the west end of town associated with Britton Lane, Boston Post Road, and West Wharf. I'm going to share my screen right now so we could all get visual here of what's going on. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So basically, this is so I just briefly noted the inception of this project, but it's grown over the past year or two, we've gotten additional funding, and this project fully funded by the local transportation capital improvement program through the LOTSIP program funded by the state of Connecticut. And the intention here is to ultimately provide safe pedestrian.
Hold up. Oh, never mind. It went on the screen.
You unplugged.
It,
It came out over there. You can't really move the screen. I thought you were just gonna walk up and take a closer look.
Closer. Is she hit you with it?
no,
Yeah, you gotta pull it back, because it's looked right in its head.
it transferred over. Well, now it
Sorry.
went away again. And
There we go.
It's recovered.
Okay,
Yes.
let me reshare my screen here.
yes, please, thank you.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, just to continue here. This is a crosswalk sidewalk project funded through the local transportation capital improvement program through the state of Connecticut. The idea of this project is to provide and to improve and continue safe pedestrian access throughout areas of town that are consistent with the town's complete streets policy and bike walk master plan. This corridor here was identified in the bike walk master plan, and SLR has been on board since the project's inception, starting with crosswalks. Again, we're looking to provide that pedestrian access right now from the town. What I'm going to be showing you is from the town green, ultimately down to West Wharf, and then crossing the Boston Post Road, and then ultimately crossing Boston Post Road to West Wharf, and then down to Surf Club Road. Again, this is also provides a valued interconnection between not just the town green, but this pedestrian users in our downtown area that can now safely, instead of having to walk into the street, access via sidewalk and crosswalks to our surf club road, and ultimately the surf club facility. So just briefly here, I'll just going to go through the plans. This is the town green where my cursor is. Hopefully everybody could see that. From the town green, you could travel west, across this crosswalk, across Cops Road, follow along Britton Lane here on the north side. As you can see here, we're going to be doing some geometric improvements to this intersection. As this intersection stands now, there's cars that rapidly fly down Britton Lane to a very bad angle sort of intersection with Boston Post Road. We're going to kind of tee this up a little bit, and it allows us to kind of pull the sidewalk along the northerly side and continue west towards Lantern Hill. As we continue along, we'll continue along Boston Post Road, passing a few driveways. There's a landscape block retaining wall, which the pavers and the retaining wall, I have some details that I'll show you, color details I'll show you in a second. But the sidewalk continues west, ultimately terminating here at the Lantern Hill intersection. And this is where the kind of crosswalks come into play. There's a crosswalk across Lantern Hill, west, and then south over Boston Post Road, ultimately tying you into West Wharf and bring you down West Wharf. You could, the project, even though this is a plan set we use for the Historic District Commission meetings, but the sidewalk eventually does in its entirety. I could show you here on this plan set, even though it's not color. It does go all the way down West Wharf, and ultimately terminate at Surf Club Road. So a few details. So this section here, per the Historic District's comments, we wanted to kind of match the downtown center, and we're going to be using brick pavers throughout this corridor from the town green to Lantern Hill. I also may want to explore, and I was going to talk to SLR about this, about potentially adding some additional brick pavers in this area, but right now it's planned to be terminate at Lantern Hill Road. Some details here is the paver design isn't exact, but the intent is to ultimately match the color and pavers of our downtown center, ultimately providing a paver walkway in this area. And then ultimately, then also for that 100-foot section of landscape block retaining wall required on the Boston Post Road, we were thinking of landscape block retaining walls looking similar to this. And we have a historic district commission meeting on Monday, August 24th, and we were soliciting feedback from them about what colors that they uh, they may feel is preferable. And I'm also, if you have any preference as well, we could certainly take that into account on the color of this landscape block retaining wall. So generally, that's the scope of this in the downtown village district, is going from the town green along Britton Lane to Boston Post Road the Boston Post Road to Lantern Hill over to West Wharf and then down to Surf Club Road. Not a ton of design elements with this project, but so with that, if you have any questions regarding what we intend on doing here, we have SLR on, who are the designers. They could definitely answer any questions that you may have.
Can you just zoom in and walk us through the extent of the retaining walls and maybe just give us an idea how high those are and where they are?
Sure. So, Paul, what's the height of the wall?
At the most, it's like 3 feet high, I believe. It's like 2.5 to 3 feet. It's a pretty low wall.
Yeah, so it'll be in this frontage here. So the sidewalk will be along the road, and let me zoom in a little bit more here.
So that's in between Britain and Lantern Hill, right? Is that where that is? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that where that antique cape is so close to the road and all that is? Okay.
It's not a knoll, that antique cape's not a knoll.
Yeah, yeah. Are there stone walls? Are there stone walls at the Lantern Hill entrance now?
The Lantern Hill entrance.
Yeah.
There's this.
Yeah.
They have this large wall that's here.
Okay. And the retaining walls really aren't anywhere near that, are they? I guess, so that's good. Right?
Yeah.
Probably about 400 or 500 feet away, something like that. Like 300 feet away.
Like,
Could you put up the color of the possible colors of the stone?
Sure. So we have sandstone, dark brown, slate blend, desert blend, Saratoga, burnt umber, natural gray, Allegheny blend. These were provided, SLR provided these wall colors that are potential. Doesn't really, I don't have a particular preference. I'd like to, if there's anything that you'd like, I'd like to match it up with what the HDC has to say. Kind of come to an agreement about what's most suitable for the aesthetic of the area.
Well, the walkway is brick and it's red, basically, right?
Yeah, so the brick it's the reason why the SLR they picked this detail because the coloring of this brick is very similar to our downtown center.
I mean, I don't know how other members of the committee feel, but I would think that having a contrast would be preferable than matching colors. And so a stone, a gray stone, a natural look would be preferable rather than another color, to introduce another color, especially since it's so extensive.
and we've got all kinds of different brick in the center. Are you referring to the most recent project right in the core of the downtown?
Yeah. Yeah, basically everything that goes from currently, and we'll discuss that on the next agenda item, but basically all the pavers that extend from Wall Street / Samson Rock Drive that extend to the firehouse on the north side and to Henny Penny on the south side.
How wide is the walkway?
It's
Yeah, Paul.
for the most part, it's 5 feet. It does transition to 4 feet in front of that retaining wall or that landscape block wall, just to be able to basically not eat into the existing roadway pavement. It's pretty tight there. I think, given the grade there, we had to get the sidewalk a little tighter through there. Really, for ADA accessibility, 4 feet is minimum. So
Looks like you guys made the judgment that matching the herringbone in the center of the town just wasn't going to work in that narrow walk. Is that true? I think I saw it running. You just have a regular running bond in your detail that I saw.
yeah, I think the intent, if we could make it work, per what's in the downtown, we will. We'd have to, I don't know, maybe Joe, you can comment on that. I don't know if it's possible in the 4 foot width. But we'd like to match what's downtown. If we can't, then we'd probably have to go with something like this.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that's the right thing to do.
I'll just chime in with the herringbone. You can do it, but there'd be a lot of cut pieces on the edges. So I think the running bond's probably more efficient.
It'll be visually, it'll be maybe a little too cluttered anyway. You know?
Yeah.
I got one question on tree removal.
Yep.
Do we have to count what kind of trees are going to have to come down with all the work being done?
As far as number of trees, it's really over by Rob to the west. If you want to go to the next plan over, there's one there. If you want to stay there, where
This is
where
probably
we
the
are.
most significant tree due to the roadway geometry realignment. The most significant tree is at the one at the corner of Britton Lane, and then I'll let Paul discuss.
Yeah, so up in that area there where the sidewalk comes through. The goal is to really maintain all the trees that we can. There are a couple that clearly are, the root systems are going to be affected. So, my guess is probably going to be 3 or 4 trees that have to come down in that area.
How about West Wharf?
West Wharf, we're within town right away for the most of the stretch, and we're mostly in front of the row of trees. That row of trees is actually, I believe, on the golf course property for the most part. There's probably some roots and stuff that come over into the town right away, but we don't plan on touching any.
Okay, so you put the sidewalk in on West Wharf without bothering all those.
Yeah, there might be one you could see right there at 17. Yeah, where Rob's cursor is. That one will probably be affected, the roots at least. So, one thing we don't want to do is cut into the roots and leave the tree because it will eventually die. So, but minimizing the impacts along that stretch of right away.
Will you be, let's say the walkways are in or the clearing is done and the construction's done, will you be introducing some new trees along the walkway?
That wasn't the plan. It's certainly, if the town wanted new trees, we could certainly look at proposing a few along the walkway. We haven't discussed that though.
If there was I follow what you're saying, you're going to try to limit the takedown to put the walkway in. But if there was an area that looked like it had been disturbed, Rob, the town wouldn't be adverse to putting some new trees in, would it?
No, if there's applicable areas where we can add a tree, we could certainly do that. I mean, again, with a lot of these infrastructure projects, and we're seeing it more and more. This is our we have one Cops and Warpus Road is in construction now, and then we did the Woodland Road, Bradley Road, and Durham Road sidewalk project 2 years ago, and we really tried to mitigate as much as possible any type of removals. If there are areas that we can identify, and we do downtown center, and like again in the next agenda item, you'll see more significant landscaping there. With this project, though, if there are areas that a tree needs to be removed due to either the roots or a direct conflict, there are probably a few areas here we can identify and replace them.
Yeah, and best approach in my opinion is maybe we just hold, a budget line item for landscaping or something, just given the fact that we don't necessarily know exactly how many trees are going to be affected. where we could just hold the line item so it's there if we do want to plant some new ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and generally, at a lot of the projects that we've had so far, the reason they're being removed is because they're not just because of the alignment of the sidewalk or the road or whatever, but it's because there really isn't space given the added infrastructure. I think with this project, I think there will be some opportunity to find some additional space within the town right of way and plant a few. So I think what Paul said is probably a good way to go about this is to hold a line item for um, tree installations when we bid this, and where we can install some new ones. I wouldn't object to that.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a question about the tree at the corner of Britton Lane and Route 1. That's a pretty significant tree, is it not? Is that a large tree?
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
that
big.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
so
that,
that was the one that's always been on my mind since we started this project was that one. It is a significant tree. Um, but I guess the way to best rationalize that tree removal is regardless of whether this sidewalk was going in and we were doing this project, that intersection there, an intersection that I frequently drive on when I'm heading to the surf club with my kids for sports or whatever. I literally drive on Britain on a daily basis, and the current angle that intersection connects with Boston Post Road definitely shows that there's a need for an improvement there. So even without the sidewalk project, even doing a roadway realignment would necessitate the removal of that tree. But you're right, it is a big one for sure.
yeah, I always fear, I mean, I understand and I recognize that, contemporary engineering techniques are very different from intersections like that. But I do think that kind of an intersection does hold the really antique character of the green in the town. And an old tree like that, you know, I would ask for it to be considered. This is my opinion. That if that realignment and bumping the sidewalk in and making that little kink in the road is the sole cause of wiping out that big tree, I mean, I don't know. I don't, unless it's a police department thing and it's a major issue. I understand. I guess the idea is you put that little bump in there, it's going to keep people from shooting through there without stopping. Is that the idea, Rob?
I'm sorry, I missed that last
Well,
part.
the idea of having the sidewalk bump out into what's now the roadway is going to reduce the number of people who are going to tap and go through that thing. Is that what the hope is with doing that, or?
Yeah, I mean, it is to reduce speed. I mean, people literally fly straight through that stop bar and make that quick right onto Boston Post Road, especially when they look left and don't see any cars coming. But again, this is a sidewalk project as well, and there are reasoning of what for pulling that out, and being able to provide enough space to install the sidewalk as well. So there are roadway and sidewalk related reasons. But I just don't think there's no alignment that we can use there for the sidewalk or roadway that'll allow us to retain that tree. I mean, we've looked at it.
Yeah, just to add to that too, it was actually we had aligned it even more of a 90-degree approach, um, and went back and forth with Rob a little bit to not be so drastic. So we kind of looked at even a more drastic measure and pulled it back a little bit. And to Rob's point, if we don't make some type of adjustment, then we're dealing with some wetland issues near that culvert there that you see, and the sidewalk's getting real close to that. So we kind of had to take a balanced approach. And the realignment kind of serves two purposes. So as Rob said, it's a traffic calming mechanism, which is going to force people to slow down as they come to that stop bar. But then also too today, it's there's a sightline issue too. So because I've driven that intersection as well, and when you're looking to take like a right hand turn and you're looking back over your shoulder to see cars coming west, it's pretty tricky. So, like, what this will allow you to do, and it's unsafe, what this will allow you to do is get more of a perpendicular look or come to a perpendicular approach and be able to look more, not so over your shoulder, but to your actual left. And that tree right now does cause a little bit of a sightline issue too. So
Yeah. Okay.
People with arthritic limbs.
Yeah.
It's just if the town goes over, you can't.
But yeah, I'm sure you guys have thought it through. I guess it's one of those things where you're like, am I making enough of an adjustment to matter? And it sounds like you feel you have. So I just wanted to just point out my preference anyway, that if it isn't really making much of a difference or an immeasurable difference, then leave the tree. That would be my suggestion. I don't know how everybody else. I understand. I totally get it. I understand why you're doing it, and I don't disagree that it will help. Like, what you're seeing, I think it will help.
and if we do find that there's some room, like where we're planting that turf there on the corner, or whatever, if we could pop a tree in there, then we can. I think, and that's kind of why I want to hold a budget item. So once these sidewalks are in, we could walk it out there with Rob and kind of see if there's a spot where something would make sense.
That would make that whole bubble look a little less unnatural. That would be nice. You can do it.
What is this? A guardrail?
It's the property line, I think, Peter.
That's probably not.
I think. Oh, you mean those little dots?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Those are slope limit lines. So those are like what we. I'm sorry. That's a. It's tough for me to see. I believe those are slope limit lines. So those are the limits of, or no, that's a sedimentation control system fence. That's a silt fence. That's what that is. So you don't have any when they're working. So they don't have any material go down into that wetland area or the little stream. Anything that requires a fill, we put silt fence behind.
You can't move this up a little bit and make this like that? Get away from that corner? Put the sidewalk at this green area?
You mean kick this over this way?
Yeah. And so that you're bringing this down so that the curves here, getting away from that more.
Yeah, so like that's a huge tree. I mean, even if you'd almost have to go back to the exact way it is now because even right now, if you go out there, its current existing condition, it's literally right up against the edge of pavement. I mean, making any improvement here will cause the tree to be removed. Will require the tree to be removed.
Would a speed table or something, in advance of that stop sign help and keep the road the way it is? Just a thought. It's probably something you guys thought about.
Can't see.
Yeah, you can't sit it. Okay. I understand that whole time looking over the shoulder. I get it.
Yeah.
Never mind. As much as I'm not a fan of his speed bumps, but you want to go for the speed meet?
Close it to the food drive.
What's that?
Close the whole thing to food drive. Just for the church and the house. That's all it's
I have
there.
a question about the sidewalk when it goes past Lantern Lane on the north side of Route 1. It's going straight and then you have this little right angle there. What is that for? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So those
so-
are bus stops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, so both of those little right angles there, when we received comments back from the DOT and they were willing to provide additional funding for the project, their suggestion was they identified bus stops at both of these locations. So we're providing that's essentially what that sidewalk is bus stop access.
Okay.
Got a lot of work shoots in it.
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate the color of I'm fixated a little bit about the color of the retaining walls. I think it's super important. It's especially from a historical perspective. I think the Historical Society, would agree that a natural stone would be preferable to some colored stone. I mean, that's not historic in any way.
So the bottom left ones are gray.
Yeah, like that picture there is a good example of what I think would be preferable. What do you
I
think?
mean, I tend to agree from a design perspective, just so there's some contrast between the sidewalk and the wall. I don't think it would look as good if there's like a brown, red colored wall.
Other going downtown.
No, you want that thing to blend in and gray out to the background.
Right.
No, I agree with you.
So you guys think natural gray is where you're falling right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you want to fight with that red
Mhm.
sidewalk.
It can't be. Still.
And it'll blend into the landscape.
Okay, that's great. No, I'll make sure I mention that on Monday night's meeting.
I think either of the grays would be fine, the darker one that's second down or the one on the bottom. But I'm with Ron, I think you want to have a little contrast, especially if you're gonna have some red in the brick. I wouldn't have any red, yellow, or orange in your wall.
And that's not historic anyway.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think that natural gray one was like perfect.
Yeah, and can I make a suggestion on the tree? I just looked at it, Pat just zoomed in on it. It's in the wires there anyway, so if you did take the tree down, the Lutheran church put 2 large oaks in when we did the work there years ago. Those are red oak. Maybe you just put in a line item that you could bring in instead of like 3-inch caliper, maybe you bring in 6, 7-inch caliper. So it starts to get, you don't have to go to 9, 10-inch caliper. It's there right now, but bring in something of some size and maybe stay in the same family and find an area that it can fit into that island away from what you want to do. Might be a nice addition or new additional tree if you're going to take that one tree down.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree. We could definitely look at that.
Yeah, after having looked at this on Street View, I'm over the tree. I kind of get it. The thing is, it's out there all by itself. It's not like it's, it doesn't have any companions, it's wide open all along one, practically to get back to the green there. So I don't think it's going to be terribly missed, except for people having a hard time looking over their shoulder.
Yeah.
I think that'll be.
If you want to take a motion on this and we go to the next application.
Yeah, I think we can. I don't know, have we heard everything that you guys are all set? I don't think there's any questions.
We're all set.
Good. Somebody want to try to throw a motion? Not yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for this.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with suggestion of retaining wall being natural gray. Is there anyone?
A second? Any discussion?
No.
I have a discussion point. I think it would be nice to see the retaining wall selection. Whatever that's made. Can we do that?
Yep.
I think that would be great. Yeah, okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Boston Post Road, Route 1, Madison Center Project 3. Go ahead.
Okay.
So, where the work is first, that's all.
So this one is a bit overdue. Just to rehash some history here with our downtown center project, was done in the mid 2010s, 2015-ish. We had the funding in place, and when we had I think two bids come back, and they were significantly higher than the funding that we had available. So we valued and engineered the project, and those of you who have gone downtown have noticed that from the fire on the north side, from the firehouse to Wall Street, and on the south side from Henny Penny to Sampson Rock, yeah, was completed, roughly 10 years ago. This last remaining third of the project here from the firehouse, which is right here, to Durham Road, and Henny Penny, which is here, to Meigs Avenue,
Rob,
That
share your screen.
oh, I'm sorry, shouldn't share it. Share. I think this is it. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see that? Now you can. Okay. So basically, yeah, so it doesn't change the remaining third of the street was never done. We did 2/3 back in 2015, 14, 15, and this last remaining third has been kind of sitting idle for or a little over a decade. So the firehouse is here and to Durham Road. Obviously, this is where the banner is up here. You come into town, the CVS, Jersey Mike's, everything in this parcel here. And then on the south side, we have Henny Penny to Meg's Avenue. So roughly about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we brought SLR on board to help us, continue these plans. Really, there's a few real notable points here that I'd like to call your attention to. And I do have a color sketch I'll show you of the Tucker's Pond Walkway. But before we get there, I just want to bring up a few notable changes. So these plans are pretty much in line with the former town engineer had designed when he designed the previous phase of the downtown center. Is essentially continuing these brick paver sidewalks to the intersection here. Continuing. I'm sorry. We still good? Okay. Continuing the brick pave. Hello? Okay, I think I got an echo. So continue the brick paver sidewalks here from Henny Penny to Meg's Avenue. The only difference really here is that Chase Bank was installed in this 10-year time. So we had them when they did the frontage of their property, they included some of the sidewalk in their frontage as well as some of the landscaping. But generally, everything that you see out there now, as far as the decorative streetlights, um, irrigation, landscaping is going to be similar. And I'll show you more about that in a second. But a few notes that I want to call your attention to is one, um, we are going to have another rate, just like we have the raised median that goes all the way from Wall Street all the way down to the firehouse right now. We are going to be continuing the median a bunch, but because it's in front of the firehouse, we are going to have a mounted paver median. It's actually going to look similar to the crosswalks that are out here. Well, we didn't install this one yet. We have the crosswalk down by Wall Street. So we're going to add another decorative crosswalk at the intersection here, and then ultimately these flush paver medians here and here are going to look very similar to the crosswalks. The reason these are flush paver medians is solely for the fire department needs to be able to get access, whether they're crossing the street here, they need to be able to go over the median in emergency situations. And in situations where they come out going west, if there are cars queued up here, they need to have the ability to kind of cut over and go over this median here. So these two here cannot be raised medians. Raised medians like we currently have that there now. This middle median in between these two is going to pretty much match what's out there now. It's going to be a raised median. This section going to be irrigated, landscaped. But again, nothing significant from the previous plan submission or no real deviation from what's out there now. Two deviations though I do want to call your attention to is one, we are going to be installing a mid-block crossing. A lot of times we have these brick kind of refuge areas that are out there now. I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 of them. We have plantings in between each of these brick refuge areas. A lot of the times people get out of their car, they hit this brick, there are there's kind of landscaping in the way, and then they're walking into traffic here. In association with, in coordination with the DOT, the local traffic authority, our engineers, SLR, and internal internal town staff here. We've ultimately moved or want to move in the direction of installing this mid-block crossing. So it's basically this is kind of Ashley's Ice Cream, New Haven Savings Bank. I mean, now it's Key Bank. You know, basically we're going to be extending the median, the island out here, and providing uh, a safe crosswalk through the median to the other side of the street. Again, this will be a decorative crosswalk just like we have here at the east end at Wall Street. So that's my first kind of notable change from the previous P&Z and ACA approvals from a decade ago is the mid-block crossing. The second notable change we're making is in regard to the Tuxas Pond walkway improvements. The previous design, in my opinion, is very costly and a bit over designed and required a bit of an easement area from Cumberland Farms, which again, I don't know if they're even amenable to granting an additional easement area. We decided to go with a cleaner, more cost-effective look to the Tuxas Pond walkway entrance, and this is where we kind of have the imagery here, the graphics is, imagine this is kind of Boston Post Road, as you could see by the this wonderful couple here. Uh, Basically, this is kind of the entrance. You're walking north towards the Tuxas Pond walkway that was recent, well, not recently anymore, but redone 5 years ago. So this is a plan view of just, continuing the brick paver pattern, herringbone, from the connection. I'm sorry. Oh shit, I got rid of it. Okay. So for basically from here, the sidewalk that fronts the firehouse heading towards in Cumberland, front of Cumberland Farms, basically from this point here, it will continue the brick pavers, and then we have a lattice fence that is actually going to be elevated. What do we have? 2 feet off the ground, and we plan on putting some nice different gem box and different types of plantings underneath, as well as there's going to be some bollard lighting in here as well. The bollard lighting that's out there now is failing. There's one that was knocked out a number of years ago, and I think there's one remaining out there. It does not provide adequate light to the Tuxas Pond walkway entrance. Just so you know that these bollards here, our intention is to match them as closely as possible to the Tuxas Pond walkway entrance on Bradley Road. That was designed and built right around the COVID era, 2021. And I thought that little pocket park that we did on that north side looks terrific. We did use the same pavers and pavers design for up there, as well as used more durable bollard lighting. So we're looking to, and now 5-6 years later, that bollard lighting is still intact, still looks great, still illuminates the walkway great. So we intend on matching that same bollard lighting to this walkway here. So this is again a clean, simple, looks nice. It'll be cost effective for the project. But this is the entrance to the Tuxas Pond walkway. Here we and actually let me get Joe, if you don't mind, you understand this better than I do. If you don't mind getting into these last two slides here.
Yeah, sure. I'll jump right in. I think Rob did a really good job on the first one. But here we are, and actually, if you want to just go to that first one, Rob.
Yeah.
I'll just say that the earlier design, like Rob was saying, was rather elaborate. It was like a bunch of vines, and it was just going to we felt it was going to create a lot of maintenance, and so one of the goals of this was to just do something simple, easy, and still look good. So the part of the reason why we raised the fence off the ground was just to give us more room for plantings, because if we didn't do that, it's a very narrow strip, and we weren't sure we were going to be able to do anything ornamental. So that was the thinking there. And then, yeah, Rob, if you want to just go to the next slide.
Answer the question about the Tuxas walkway entrance there. So that
Sure.
fence, one side and it's on the firehouse side. Is that right? Just want to make sure. Okay. That's right. Okay.
Yep. Okay. I'll jump to the next one.
Yep. Okay, so then the plan on the left here, that basically shows the area in front of the CVS Plaza. And you can obviously see the brick paver sidewalk coming through. And then we've done a couple little planting nodes there. For the trees, we chose an American yellowwood. It's just a really nice kind of medium-sized tree. We didn't want anything, that was going to get huge. We didn't want anything like an oak that was going to drop, acorns or something like that. So again, this is just kind of like a medium-sized tree. It's kind of from like the Midwest, kind of Ohio-ish area, but it gets a really nice flower. It's mildly fragrant, it has no disease or insect problems. It doesn't drop any fruit. It's just an easy, nice, medium-sized tree. So that's what we chose for the tree. And then for the plantings, again, we're just kind of just going with easy, proven, low maintenance plants. We have a gem box inkberry, which is very similar to a boxwood without the pest problems, and a blue grandma grass, which has a nice blue color. So like I know it's really tiny, but in those little planting bubbles, yeah, if you want to just zoom in a little bit, so along the back edge of it, we have the ink berries and the grasses, like kind of creating an arc. And then in front of that is using the Happy Return Daylily, which is just an easy growing ground cover plant. You probably all know what it is. It's used elsewhere downtown, but it's just a very easy, low maintenance plant, and that would basically fill in the areas below the tree. And then I'll just touch on the little planting area over by Cumberland Farms. There is an existing planting bed right there now, and a tree. We're leaving the tree, but the shrubs are pretty junky. I think there's a couple shrubs in there. So basically just cleaning up that island, leaving the tree, but then underplanting it with that same mostly Happy Return daylily there. And then you can see the plantings running along the fence that kind of head north from there.
Okay.
So yep, this is basically the Tungus walkway section, and then this last one, it's kind of a strange little area in front of the steamed restaurant. And right now, I understand it's not an ideal situation. There's basically a grade change between the edge of the sidewalk where it meets the road, and then there's a higher grade where you enter into the building. And I understand it's just caused some maintenance issues, and so it was basically asked to look at, a way to solve this problem that every might make everyone happy. And our kind of first preferred option is um, that monolithic granite seat wall that you can see in the picture there. And what that basically is doing is it would allow us to make that grade change without like a step or a slope. And so trying to see how to best explain this. The right now the and actually you can see in the existing conditions we have like a granite curb with the brick right behind it. And so this granite seat wall would, it's the similar material as the granite curb. It would coordinate really nicely aesthetically. I think it would look really nice. But more than that, again, it would allow us to have a lower walkway on the front where it meets the road and a higher walkway kind of on the back side where you enter into steamed. And people could potentially sit on that wall. It's raised up enough that nobody's gonna trip or fall over it. We're a little concerned if we tried to make a flush transition, which is kind of what our other option is. But just we're a little concerned about the people not seeing that and it not being visible. So that was the thinking with the granite seat wall. It was like, hey, let's use a material that's already out there that blends with everything that's there, but let's make it kind of some like a feature basically. So that was our preferred option, and then the second option would be to remove out that kind of brick, small brick wall that's there. It's like a small brick wall and some plantings. So the second option is remove that and then put in basically like a mortared river stone area, and it's really only like 2 feet wide, but basically it would allow us to make that transition from the higher walkway to the lower walkway, and then we would mortar these kind of decorative smooth river stones into place. I think it could still be pretty cool, but we'd probably wanna still have like a step. Like right now, there's a step that gets you from the lower portion to the upper portion. We'd probably try to maintain that with that option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably questions on this, so happy to discuss.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as the I'm sorry, that's the previous downtown center. Again, staying status quo with the majority of basically matching existing of what you have out there. Just the median, adding a flush paver median to accommodate the fire Madison hose. Making the Tuxas Pond walkway, kind of just redesigning it a bit to kind of make it look nice but simpler and more cost effective. And then yeah, and then also looking at potential solutions to the front of the aerodome building. Yeah, and again, we're just kind of getting into these alternatives now, but yeah, these are kind of the newer things that were not as part of the oh, and I forgot the mid-block crossing as well. But those are some of the newer elements that were not part of the original application back, over a decade ago. So yeah, with that, if I can bring up any other plans you want, or if you have any questions, feel free to let us know.
Why don't we just get flying, or anybody want to comment? Anything else?
Is option one better than option two on the aerodome building? And Joe, one question: if you drop in the raised granite, I think they brought those walkways up for ADA to get into the aerodome building. So
Yep.
is that brick still going to be ramped?
Yeah,
Like
that
coming
would
in-
maintain, because I think what you're talking about, like it's hard to see on that Google Street View photo, but that ramp kind of along the building, that would basically be maintained. So like the grade along the building would be maintained, the grade along the sidewalk would be maintained, and then we're basically just using that monolithic granite piece to allow that transition to happen.
So there would be no step, right?
No step, yeah.
That would be.
I think we could do it with a step, but I think you could also eliminate it, and then they could just walk around either side. It's
John, please step over there.
And one other question: you're going to leave the sycamore where you're putting the crosswalks across the middle part of the street?
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Massive
Put
one.
that, want to put that on record that we are not going anywhere near that tree.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So let me bring that up. I think this is it. So yeah, the sycamore is right in here. I think it should be. I think you guys put it on one of your surveys. Where the hell? Paul, remember we talked about that?
Yeah, it was the if you go back, Rob, zoom in. It might not the outline might not be showing up, but that cavity, that white Keep going. Go back. Right there. Right there. Yeah, where your cursor is, that's where that tree is right now.
Yeah, so basically the existing this right now is in it that's out there right now. There are some plantings in here and there's the tree. This parking space, this kind of curb return here on this parking space. This all exists. So everything that we're going to be building new is going to be just an add-on to what's out there. We're not going to be touching that. I have no intention I don't even want to see a root from that tree.
I like the granite option too on
Yeah.
in front of the Aerodome building. I think that's better. I mean, the other one I think also could work, but I think it'd be good to fix that. You can't even take a picture of it to illustrate it. The sign thing almost sure really understand what's going on there.
Which I've done.
Yes, I'm sure we all have.
Yeah, everybody has.
Yeah,
I'm sure
we all have.
Years.
And do folks have a preference on whether to have the step remain in the middle or eliminate it? I think it could work both ways.
Well, for ease of access, no step would be preferable.
Well,
No, the side.
Oh,
Yeah, then you gotta go around. You did a little, probably just putting a little break in that granite curve.
oh, I see.
Yeah, it would basically, I'd have to break it. It's hard to see in that photo there, just to the left of where that lamp post is, or light post, whatever that is.
Yeah.
There's a brick step, and so I think that brick step could remain, and we could just put the granite, monolithic granite seat wall to
Yeah.
the left and to the right where the plantings are.
That would make a lot of visual sense to leave that.
Yeah.
I like everything pretty much that you guys have presented. And I think walking downtown a lot lately, and particularly the Tungus Walkway and everything else, I think that the work that was done, how many years ago now? 10 years? I think it's
like 11 years.
I think it's really endured. I think it looks great. And I think it'd be so nice to have it finished. So, and I think the islands, the medians and everything, extending that down and getting that organized. So as much as people like myself.
Hey,
As much as people are gonna hate not being able to turn left out of Cumbies anymore, right?
I think we
equal thing, everybody will have to adjust to, so, you know.
so we actually maintain that.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, so
you could just take
basically
a left. Yep.
we're gonna have a right. Oh shoot, I gotta reshare my screen. Okay. So yeah, so we actually kept that in mind here. So you're able to still make a left here into the Cumberland Farms, and then we're gonna have basically a one in here, one lane in, and then we're gonna have a right. This is gonna be a right turn only.
That's the CVS, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, that's the CVS. Oh, the
That's
Cumbies though.
the other two where you're gonna have the raised planter bed in front of you, which is
Right.
fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was thinking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the.
Yeah.
How are they gonna get there?
Yeah, so Cumbies, you won't be able to. Yeah, from this here, you won't be able to make a left. This one you'll have to go.
You can't make a U-turn at the end of it.
We're gonna see some creative moves, I'm sure. Ghost about. Right.
So I have a question about the fire department. Did Sam DeBurr be involved in this design?
Yes. Yeah, heavily. Him and Bobby Kittle.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I think
looks good. No, I like it all. Yeah.
Well, I'm just concerned about that by putting, I mean, it all looks great, that's for sure. But the raised bed to the west of Cumberland Farms and CVS, right now, people manage to be parallel to each other going west so that the left-hand lane, so to speak, turns left into CVS or Cumberland Farms. The way now you've restricted it to one lane, and there'll be a backup of people trying to go straight ahead west and people who are trying to turn left into CVS and or Cumberland Farms. Well, they can't go into Cumberland Farms, which is going to create another problem because how are they going to get there? You can't take a U-turn at the end of the street, or not allowed to anyway.
Well,
How are they going to get there?
the no U-turn sign is kind of out in front of the firehouse now.
No, I mean, at the end, if they can't take a
Oh,
left
yeah.
into Cumberland Farms, they go to the end of the
Oh, I
street
see.
where they
Yeah,
cannot
I-
take a U-turn.
I
How
understand.
will the people going west go to Cumberland Farms?
Going west,
People
going east.
Excuse me, traveling
You
east.
make a left-hand turn into Cumberland, I think that's a good question.
They can't do it now, and how will they be able to do it in going to the end of the street? They can't get there.
So they're gonna have to loop around and go down Meg's and come back around, make a left on at Samsonite and come down this way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can't do it.
You can't, if you're going east, you can't make a left and come east. You got a little window there.
No, you can't. You'll cause havoc.
All it's happened now.
I think that's a problem. I really do. It'll look good, but I think that's a real problem. And I'm surprised Cumberland Farm, I mean, if Cumberland Farms finds out about that,
I mean,
I'm
you
sure
should-
they'll object.
If that raised bed were to leak to the west a little bit, and then there was an opening where you could cross into the easterly curb cut of Cumbies, that might work. If you end up with enough raised bed there, that could work.
Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this a comment from DOT? I forget like the way this.
Yeah, well, this has also been since the original design. I don't think ever since this got approved, 15 years ago, whenever it was, 12 years ago, this was always part of the original design. So I don't think, Rob, that we've had any internal conversations about revising it, just given that it was approved 10 plus years ago.
Well, it was probably an oversight, I think. I mean, but I think you might that.
I'd have to look back at DOT comments to see if they did comment on it to prevent any left-hand turns. Because I do know, given the queuing issue there for traffic heading westbound, that I know it's tough. Just the maneuvering in there is tough. Like to the point where we were even looking at options to make the CVS entrance one way in, but that just never transpired. Just because we didn't get the approvals to do so. So, yeah, I can certainly check back if it's something we could maybe snip the nose off a little bit or push that a little further back. We could certainly look into it.
Yeah.
If DOT wasn't the one to restrict us from doing that.
We recognize we're just giving you our layman's take on the whole thing. I kind of, now that we've talked about it a little bit, I gotta believe there was a lot of heavy traffic engineering discussion about this at some point by somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know. But I think Ron's right. There's no way to get the Cumbies traveling east.
No way.
Unless you do a U-turn over the bottom curb in front of the firehouse.
Well,
Which is what people are gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
That's what over that has to.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
And I think that
They go right to the end of the zone.
and I think the median on the west end side will create backup. When people want to go either straight ahead or left into CVS against oncoming traffic
Yeah.
going west.
Does that modelable curb have any elevation to it, or is it just a pattern in the paving in front of the firehouse?
Rob.
No, there's no elevation to that. It's flush.
So you can just drive over that.
You don't
Okay.
take a left hand turn. Come back.
Well, you just kind of right there.
Jeez.
So you gotta, there's nobody coming the other way.
What do you mean?
Go past.
Raised bed.
Raised like
People are going west.
Well, I know, but when you don't make it's just like the way it is now. You don't turn left. On the traffic.
Right, but you don't have a bed to protect. I mean, you don't have anything else. I'm not saying it's good now.
Nobody will be able to see by you on the right if you're waiting for traffic. That's right there.
How about this guy's be a back?
But anyway.
Why don't we let them look
We'll let
at
them-
it? Let
yeah.
them look at it and they come back. We can discuss it all night long. And we've still got one more presentation.
No, you're right.
Right. I know.
No problem. I think it needs revisiting.
Okay, so anyone want to make a motion to, endorse this whole thing?
I'll make a motion to approve, more or less as presented. I like all the different, areas that we went through. I think we as a board probably like option one in front of the Aerodome building. along with leaving the brick step coming out of the main door. I think that's probably the best. That way, parking in front of that, you can go right into the aerodome without walking around to get to the ADA. And we'd love it if you guys looked at everything we just brought up in front of the Cumberland Farms and see if that's what you want to do. I know it was approved 10, 15 years ago, but let's look at it and make sure that the raised island and the pavers and the whole thing is really the best solution for downtown.
Absolutely.
Is there a second?
No, second.
Any discussion? Good. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, it's good. I am some guys and stuff. Still a free fall.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so we're on to Mill Road.
What are you gonna do? Put it up there,
Mr. Bunningham is recusing himself. Yes, John?
Yeah, he's gonna go get his
I
people.
think that's why he left. I think they're all in the other room. They're all.
You gonna put it all on the big screen?
Yes, it might take, is Mike, coming on too, or?
Well,
Just-
it's not really neat,
Okay.
but he's gonna be on,
Yeah, he is on. I just didn't know if I needed to bring him over.
I can put this
Where everybody could see.
right next to. All right. You good? What's that? Hey, did Ron see what the red sign said?
I guess that's why you're wearing the long.
All day long, this is what we do. Put on layers.
You're taking a break.
John,
Hey, how you doing? Good, how are you?
so what should I have ready? Architecturals, landscape to show them,
Yeah, that's what we have.
okay,
Yeah.
I have landscape and architecturals. I don't need the full site plan, right?
No, unless they want to see it, we have landscape plans should do it. How are you been? Good, how are you? Good, yeah. Getting older. How's the family? Very good. Older. Yeah, we all are. Not you? Not you? You've been working on it. I haven't seen it about it. How many years since you last?
I decided recently. I'm gonna get a deal.
That's gonna be.
So,
free.
if you want for that.
Yeah, this June's out.
Just the architecture. There's John's sites in here too. I forgot to hand it to you. You know, we were gonna be on the screen.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not,
that's cool. Your choice. Yeah, no, we can do the screen.
well, there's people,
Yeah, so we'll do it on the screen, but I do have boards if you want a larger version of that.
you wanna start with this one or start?
Yeah, no, I think that it's a good start. And
Okay.
I'll start up, then we'll come back and just when he talks about landscape. Let me know when you want me to.
Oh, go ahead, I think. You're good?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, my name is Craig Nucci. I'm with Point One Architects. This project comes to you via the Madison's small cluster housing zoning regulation. This is located on River Road and Hill Match. Yeah. So it's kind of east of the, that's all. So, currently it's, just a big open field. Pretty, not very wooded at the moment, so there's not actually adding more landscaping to this than what's currently there. So the goal for us architecturally is, to kind of create a cohesive neighborhood that's kind of appropriate to the Connecticut shoreline in Madison. So that's what we've tried to do architecturally. So we've used shingle style influences in our designs. There's 3 different building unit types as part of the design. So we wanted to create some variety in the building so they're not all the same. So that not only in the buildings themselves, but in some of the material selections that I'll get to. Each of the units is by regulation is the maximum of 2,250 square feet of floor area. So they're really kind of modest sized homes. So that's I think we have 18 of them full. And my drawings kind of show you where they're located, where each unit type is located throughout the site. Part of the building materials now we're looking at New England shingle style type materials. We're going to be using shingle, more than that, and got some horizontal clapboard siding and some stone veneer, as well as some bluestone patios and what you're looking at here is kind of a compilation of those materials. So I also brought these. This is the siding that we're proposing for the project. It's used here. As far as low maintenance sidings, it's probably the best available siding on the market as far as not real red cedar. So we're proposing this. We're also proposing that giving clients the ability to kind of have some say in what color schemes they may want. So keeping in mind all these colors kind of all go together. They're all warm colors. We're using whites. We're using muted grays and some natural tones. So all these colors will still be part of the kind of cohesive shingle style neighborhood. But we want variety. We want the neighborhood to feel that it's kind of grown over time and not all be kind of cookie. The other things that we've done, if John can speak to this, is most of the garages are not front facing on the road. So we've created these little parking courts so that you're not driving down Sparrow Avenue, it's the road in the middle, just looking at front facing garages to the street. So we've created these parking courts that feel a little more sophisticated and a little more home ownership like with narrow driveway entrances rather than a big 2-car driveway that heads into each unit site. We've got 2 of the units type A and type B are 3-bedroom units with a master bedroom on the first floor. And the type C unit's a 2-bedroom unit with the bedrooms on the second floor with an elevator component if needed. We've left space in the plans for an elevator or something. And all that is a function of the number of bedrooms and septic design that's we've already figured out it's been approved. So that's the long and short of the.
Where is the septic? Where?
The septic is
There's individual systems.
they're individual for each unit.
Most of them are in the back.
I mean, we have this.
Are they engineered or?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's all approved with the town. We're already.
Well, I'm just curious.
Yeah. No, we could.
I have assist drawings if you want to see.
That's all right. I just wanted to know what.
And it's all being from public water. So there's no wells. So. And then we've got the sign, we're proposing a couple of signs on this certain location. The signs are kind of modest and they match kind of the color palette. Other development.
I'm curious, why have a sign?
Have signs, what are they saying? Do you need a sign?
Why, I've often wondered about that with developments like that. Why have a sign?
I don't know. So if you want to like that, so then they're allowed within the.
It's kind of,
Within the region.
that's pointless, isn't
I can see that.
Can I just have a question about this basic geometry of the site layout? So can you just walk us through the spacing of the, you've got a this is all one lot, right? 'Cause
It's all, yeah, it's all one.
so it's an association. So,
Yes.
but the imaginary lots of each building, I mean, how close
There's
together?
35 feet between.
Between the buildings. So lot line and lot line, and this is, I don't know how big the buildings are. What was he talking about? 70, 80 feet or something? Just curious.
Buildings are 40 feet long for the most part, so.
Okay, so 75 feet.
These are 40,
Yeah.
35, 40, 35, 40.
So you have these kind of imagined 75-foot wide lots.
Yes. Exactly. Okay. I think the goal is to create as much space between those, given the amount of units.
Yeah, I mean, I think with that tight spacing, it's certainly, it doesn't lend itself to a sort of believable evolved history. I just think it's just a lot of buildings close together, which is very foreign to that area. I know the lot well. I used to walk by there almost every day, and it really is a very special location. And I always imagine when you walk along there and look to the river, the thing that's cool about the Hannahs River basin there is that it probably looks the same as it did 400 or 500 years ago, because it's the same in the Lewis family, wherever it was, Val's property, kept it that. So I just think that as an overall conceptual layout, I think I like buildings, I think it's going to feel, it doesn't feel like it fits in with the surrounding landscape. Just the visual things, common. I think a lot of it has to do with just the density of it. And I think you could agree. I mean, you can look, you did a aerial map, you've got a lot of space between buildings in this area. Now, Strathmore Farms was done a long time ago, probably 30 years ago. And it's its own little isolated little cluster thing. It's got this enormous field buffer to it that unfortunately, this property doesn't enjoy that size and scale. But I think that's the part. I think that's the thing that I kind of, when I first glanced at this, and all I did was glance at it, I see it now. It's beautiful work. I thought maybe you could maybe make something a little bit more of this, given this sort of pristine open field opportunity you have. I don't know what that would be, but maybe just thinking about how it could not be. I mean, is it possible to make a building or two, maybe at the end of the layout, be something that was a little bit more, 17th, 18th, 19th century? I don't know, so that it might feel more comfortable with some of the other older historic homes, that are just, there's the farm across the street from, it's not too far from the point. I just don't know. I thought varying one or two of these buildings to be something very different from all the new buildings, because it's going to read as all new buildings, would that sort of make it feel like it's in a little better with the neighborhood? It's a question I'm posing.
I don't, well, just because they're not designed as farmhouses, so to speak, I think I don't know, I think in our heads, the design, kind of evolved into this mixed use of materials, using some clapboards down low, farmland. You see a lot of the shingle style buildings, even some of the farm buildings, are shingle style. They start with clapboards and then they. Yeah, that was a revealing of that. And there's a lot of stuff that, you know, in this type of development, we beat the intent of the housing regulations, coverage,
I understand.
and all of that stuff. The septic systems all approved, all work fine. And there's drainage system in there, so there's a lot of things in the nice landscape plan that you see that there's a lot of stuff in the site. That's kind of infrastructure that you know.
I mean, would it make any sense if you look at the one on the far left here? I mean, like I'm just saying that there's an opportunity there. You could develop a house lot here and maybe didn't feel like it was part of this.
But it is part.
I know,
This part of it.
but it could have a curb cut on Mill Road. And and I just think that if you imagine something of a slightly older age there, it would reduce the density, kind of repetition of. I know the houses are all different, but they're all 21st century, current style, shingle style, you know?
Yeah.
And it would just break that up a little bit.
Did you think about, I have a problem with all in the straight line.
That's what I
To see a little bit of fluctuation, it looks like the other time.
So we tried to, well, if you look at the renderings, I would say it doesn't really.
Yeah, the renderings are much.
The layout may lend itself to plan with one, but the goal is to create a lot of variety in the elevations, so that when you're driving through there, it doesn't look like it's. Yeah, no, that's not a good enough.
It's like,
But
but we wanted to keep 35 feet in between each unit. That was a goal, so that each house had some buffer between the next. When we see this, River Road, nice stone wall here, that all is going to remain the same and still feel, and provide that kind of rural character for the development.
Picking up on what Peter said, I mean, I didn't think it let down, and I don't think it actually will because of the style of the buildings, which I think are really attractive. My dis looking at this is that property itself, looking at it, pristine state,
Well, yeah,
is so unique and beautiful, especially because of its location in a river. Is that it feels so inorganic. The lake, the use of this beautiful field seems to have been completely lost, other than to simply just use it for profit. And I don't mind that, it's because everybody has a right to do what they want. But it's just my disappointment. It's a personal feeling about having a special property and not utilizing the special quality of that property and incorporate that into the architectural design. The buildings themselves I like quite a lot.
Yeah, I would say that we are incorporating a special property. Sure.
Well, it's all, another building development.
It is. I mean, it is that. We need a road in.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. So perhaps thinking about us, a solution for myself would be less dense. And to open it up a little bit so that the feeling of this field gets a little more incorporated into the this enjoyable aspect. I'm not speaking for anyone here.
No,
It's just that it's my view that such a wonderful piece of property as it seems to have been incorporated into the kind of the view of the experience.
Can I ask a question? So you said there's 35 feet in between from house to house.
Right.
And you're saying, so if you had an imaginary lot, the lot width would be Like if you had to make those little tiny lots. You said it's 75 feet long? What did you say it was? No.
So they're 40.
So it's almost similar to, so basically you have the size of lots that you would in an R5, R4, and you have more room in between
Yeah, I mean,
than you would presently have in an R4 or R5
we've
zone.
done developments with 15 next to one another.
Yeah, no,
And
yeah.
So I think.
I mean, that's just,
I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works. I find it's too dense and I think you could have incorporated the landscape feeling of it now successfully.
I'll let John speak to the landscape.
Let me, if I can just ask one thing, and I think I know the answer. So on the southerly border, that's another neighboring. So the,
Down here.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the interface that it has with the neighborhood is really just River Road and that little short stretch of Mill Road.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's really.
See, these are things I didn't understand when I first glanced the other day. I'm starting to realize. Yeah.
And actually, there are, like you said, they were oriented this way because there are views across.
Oh, yeah,
the road.
no, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful.
It's a beautiful place, and I'm glad to see that the houses don't face that direction. I like you turn it on an internal circulation
Yeah.
that makes the most sense, and it looks like there's pretty. So really, what you're looking at as you go by River Road, which again is really on our, we're supposed to be, hopefully helping people. Is you're looking sort of at backyards,
Hmm.
which is nice. I think it's a lot better. You won't see a garage. You won't see,
Right.
I think that you can't go wrong with that wall and that field. I mean, it's a beautiful spot.
You could turn it around and have a garage in the back.
Yeah.
You have to have a garage in the front.
The geometry of the lot is one of those like so many, right? Where it's like
There's only one solution.
there's only one way through. Yes, that's true. And I think
We looked at a bunch of other options and we just.
yeah. I mean, and it's also it's long and narrow, and it's wide enough to do what you've presented. And you lose an awful lot of yield if you decide to make it one-sided. Yeah, I mean, I understand the challenge. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe I didn't start off in the right direction. But by circulating off of Mill Road, maybe to one house or another, and maybe you explore those possibilities. I don't know. If you had created some buildings or visuals of, yes, that too. I'm often asked, I'm asked the same thing, what Greg's charge here is try to make something beautiful that's approvable, that is, going to be worth the money and the investment it takes to develop something. And I think I understand what the challenge is. I'm just thinking, if there was an access from another place, would that just sort of change up a piece of it a little bit? Where then it would reduce, and how many are there? 18? I mean, just able to reduce that overall volume of, again, I know they're different designs, but they're all 21st century shingle style marketable things. And I realize that's what they have to be. They have to be. But I mean, maybe if you made a couple of them just look and feel very different, or maybe if they were of a different age or style, that might reduce the 18 of them. You only had 15 of them that were sort of like that. I think that would actually give a lot more credence to your argument of it being more of a reimagined history. If you did do that in a couple of spots,
I think it is a neighborhood community film. That's kind of
that's what you're thinking of this. Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's an interesting analogy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of the coastal cottage community. It's a community within itself.
Mhm.
So,
On the inner circle, the silhouettes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all the same.
they're not. They look footprint wise, they're the same, but it's a building elevation. So even these are the type A's, type B's, and type C's, and it turns out to the type A, it's not the B groups, maybe ambulance, type C, that's the B. Okay, doesn't stick out funny.
That's the system, that's that.
Field.
So that's, so, but they all have that high bay.
Well, I think that was the goal, to make them all feel the same, but have a quiet difference between all of them, so that there was some individuality, but at the same time, it felt like a cohesive development, a cohesive neighborhood.
I think actually, but if you took one or two, then it would start to feel more integral with the store neighborhood.
So Matt, May,
That's just my suggestion about it. I mean, it's just
Matt,
something that I thought maybe you might want to consider. That's all.
I just wanted to note that pretty much everything surrounding the property, there's really, the only historical home that I can think of is the one that's, if you continue Mill Road, continue straight on River Road towards like the park, I forget what it's called. There's a nice federal there, but across the street is Mrs.
Right.
Lewis's house,
Yeah.
the ranch. Up on Mill Road, as you approach, are all those Daller houses that are, they're colonials, Reardon's house, and then there's another cave that's vinyl sided. I mean, and then the property right behind it is, I don't know what it is with all the fences and stuff. But there's really not
No, there's not a lot.
historical
I agree.
homes.
There's not a lot. There's the farm one that you talk about that's diagonal from the intersection of Mill and River, right?
Yeah.
That's the one I remember. There's another one that's further up River when you get to the cemetery, which is another unbelievable place in this neighborhood,
Yeah.
which I know is not anything you guys have to consider. I'm just saying it's really cool. It's an old road that
Well, the intent was
they hadn't had to do it in a long time,
Yeah.
But I mean, those, you're right. I know there's only a handful of them, and I haven't been down there in years, so I don't remember the specifics, but I know there was a couple.
I think the other
Yeah.
thing that we try to achieve is to try to keep these buildings low slung, and all the E lines come down to.
Yeah, I mean, the max height on these buildings.
Yeah, no, they're
Really
very.
one and a half.
That was a big part of our.
And I didn't mean to compare Strathmore Farms, because these buildings are 1,000% better. Design wise,
Well, I think we tried to take the cluster community, which is, this is in that, and trying to make it the idea is to have some separation between each unit. So you literally can have a backyard, you'll be in this nice little community, but you also have some separation and some of your own space. So, I mean, it's, we follow all the regs on the cluster development.
Ron just said something, if you want, about the feeling of the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I because of what I said earlier, that the incorporation of what's there now, it seems to be missing if you consider taking, and I think it has to do with density, telling the truth. Because I don't know how you can arrange these in a different way without eliminating a lot. You can't do that. So, but if you did consider taking the extreme left and right in front, if you eliminate, when you approach this whole property, you get a sense of feel a bit more. And, a very special environment.
You could just leave it.
And perhaps even the one in the back on the lower right. But that's not as important.
Well, it's, like you did on the corner here, you've tried to sort of maintain what that feels like now, I imagine. And then, but I think what yes, it's a little more dimension on leaving a couple of remnants at the ends or corners of what the field is now. Is that all right?
Yeah. And I think it would feel a little more special.
Well, I mean, this is all metal.
It's what?
This is all metal right now.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So instead of.
Not, I mean, the way you render it here, it's not really meadow, it's a backyard. It'll be mowed. It'll be mowed anyway, but I just feel it's very tight.
Trying to make money.
I understand that.
It's tight, it's all.
But it's our responsibility, or at least to express our opinion about the community appearance and style. So
How about our material choices?
Oh, I don't.
We're right here on the board,
Oh.
on the home.
I think they look great.
So
Great.
no questions for Greg on the material.
Well, I was just gonna veer to that unless
Okay.
somebody else has anything else to say about it. So I haven't spoken. I can see you've gotten very creative with this mixture of the white, looks like verticals and the shingles. I love the shingles. About that material. It's by far the best thing to do. I think that shingle you have on the panels is perfect, but I know you're gonna change them up. So you've got white board and batten on the lower half of the building, some places, and I think that's a nice way to. Nice way to mix it up. I'm seeing, so you said there's three basic building types, right? Okay, this is all three of them?
No, that's
Oh, no, this is one, okay.
That's a rendering. The next page is.
Yeah.
That's an HPF version. Next page is.
Okay,
And some of them garages have hip roofs, some of them.
It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of create.
yeah, gable, gambrel, and a broader gable with the garage face. That's the smaller, you better to get.
Yeah, it's a change.
Okay. No, which is nice. Maybe try to swap those garages down a little lower.
Yeah.
All those little kinks. Make it less fun to build. Make it look more natural to what you're trying to do. Yeah. So, anyway. But I don't really have any other. I mean, buildings are great. College students, fun. And you're saying there'll be how many different variations of color? We don't know.
Well, these are the shingle colors that we thought would be appropriate for. So if a customer said, "Well, I really like this gray," I would be fine with this.
Okay, so it'll be something that'll be sort of, you expect you'll be not building these on spec, they'll be.
No, it's gonna
There'll be
be
people-
It's gonna be a regulated color palette.
Oh, so
So-
you'll determine the colors before the buyer.
Well,
will
yeah, they're gonna have to
pick
pick from us, so kind of a quiet palette of things.
Okay,
So they're not gonna just go say, "Well, I want red."
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got it.
So they'll be presented with something like this that has these 5 colors. If they want a red cedar shingle house,
So it is possible that two houses might look identical next to each other.
Well, color.
Well, the color.
Maybe color. And that's okay.
They're all
That's okay.
Yeah, the house.
Probably not,
Probably not. Let's hope.
because we're gonna have to, I'm, whoever, it'll be me in the beginning. I will not approve that,
No.
but
Oh,
if, depending on where it is in the development and the association, whoever takes over, it's all gonna have to be approved. So I would not approve.
Then, the shingles, or the roof shingles. There's really 2 colors, there's the weathered wood and the other color, depending on which color scheme they go, and they can go like a warmer gray or. I don't know if that's slate gray. The other one's-
Charcoal.
It's good. I don't have any other real questions about it.
The window colors can be.
Those?
The window colors. And then everything will show here is white. Other costs on windows for bronze, stone white, metal gray.
Who chooses that?
I think it will depend on what shingle, so, you've seen a red shingle. Single style house with dark green windows, so that may be a something here. Windows. Really great.
Your renderings, everything is white with trim. I mean, I don't know, I kind of. That's such a slippery slope with dark windows and then the trim. Is the trim dark?
The trim's all gonna be white.
Is it? It will be white everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, no matter what.
Not
And,
over.
all right. I think sometimes the white trim with the dark window and the rich siding, screening white trim. Just something I know you guys. Yeah. But your renderings, one of the things that I think gives it a really nice, calm, consistent look is that your white won't have white trim in your drawings. Yeah, I mean, I'm just glancing, that's what I'm saying. But I know those are all things you'll figure out as you guys go along.
Yeah, you're not gonna let it
No.
get away.
No.
He meant
Speaking of memory of my own
speak
mistakes,
up a little bit.
what's the matter?
Getting messages that you need to speak up a little
I need to
bit.
speak up more.
Yeah, and Greg
I
too.
don't know that I have anything else to say. Sorry.
You're fine.
Well, you might have some-
All right, you want to go through the landscape?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Bree, you want to throw up the overall plan for everyone? Can I just present it from this board? Doesn't matter. No. Can you give us the whole?
Back it out or bring it
Yeah,
in?
back it out so we get the whole plan. Straight. One more.
Please hold.
Take it.
I gotta zhuzh it.
Okay, that's good. I'm just gonna run through a couple things that Greg kind of went through. Some of his renderings and some of the things don't show the existing vegetation. This is River Road along here. All the larger green circles are all existing trees, everything's staying. So when you do drive down this road, all that foliage that's there, red cedar, sugar maple, straight dogwood, that's all remaining. So it's not like you're gonna be looking into these backyards when you're driving down the thing. We went through a couple different renditions. Mike Gott's on board if you did want to talk to him. This is what we finally came up with, and we thought that these two entrances were the best way to get into the area and get into the homes. So yes, these are the back of the areas, and I'll go through the like a residential plan after I go through this. I tried to make the backyards as private as I could, even though the homes are going to be 35 feet apart. You can see these planting beds between each of the units. Okay, that's going to give the backyard some privacy. But I really thought the front yard should be like a normal neighborhood. So there's no fencing or anything in this. It's grass to driveway to lawn to each of the areas. Okay. From a development standpoint, if you look at my circles, I chose one variety of street tree to run along the road. Okay. We chose, you look at this different colored green would be evergreen. My first choice is probably going to be red cedar and maybe some white spruce. So you're going to have some screening that we're adding along River Road also that's only going to give the units along the road a little bit more screening, right? We also, once again, this is an open field. So it's really just, or it's been hayed in the past. There are, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 trees coming down in both openings, but everything else on the property is remaining. So all these green circles are all new evergreen trees and are going to help us kind of soften the property from the neighboring property. Okay, there's a house, I didn't show it on my plan, there's a house over here. There are a couple homes where my plant lists are that might look down there, but they're really going to be softened. Couple of little things, we're leaving the wall out front. I believe we're leaving the gate, the entrance.
The old one.
Yeah, that's existing. That's how they used to get back in here. Rebuilding a little of the wall back on this side of the road so it matches along River Road. We are putting a walking trail in this end of the property. You see, if you follow my pen, this is all existing growth that is staying, okay? This is like a walking trail. This is all wood, and we're planning on leaving all the woods there. We're planning on just putting this walking trail in through this wooded area. So it will be a lot of heavy shade. These new green areas will be planted areas. Mostly it will be fern and stuff. There'll be some benches. This is a great view corridor. I think you can see down to the river from this area. That's what we kind of chose that area. And to answer one of the questions about why the houses are where they are, there's a lot of stuff in the ground here. Remember, each unit has its own septic system and its tank. We're burying propane tanks in each of the units also. So there's you're not going to see it here. You'd see it on Mike Ott's plan, that when you look at what is in the ground, the homes almost have to go exactly where they are. There's not a lot of wiggle room on that, okay? Maria, could we go to the second page?
Absolutely.
And all the stormwater is handled on site.
Yeah.
It's all subsurface.
Greg brought up a couple other things. We're gonna stick with one in ground.
Hold on.
Let's see if we can get the three of the homes on one page. Maybe pinch it in a little bit. That's good. We're gonna choose bluestone. So the rear terraces are gonna be a permeable bluestone, okay? The steps coming out are gonna be bluestone steps coming down to the patios. The front porch is gonna be bluestone, and the step coming back down to the driveway. Where first floor is 18 inches down to the drive? Yes. 6, 12, 18. Yeah. And we're gonna try to keep that uniform through the area. So you can see what Greg was talking about. Here's the driveway, the cars are backing out. I really think they're not a true auto courtyard, but they're a good area. And I think they're really gonna be a nice addition to those homes. And here, this is a little bit bigger or better planting of how I tried to soften the backyards and then what each of the front yards would look like. If garages are here, if you follow my finger, this is all low plant material. But it's not lawn to the building, but it's low. It's probably 30 inches and down. So it's just going to soften the building. So when you drive along the road, I think Greg did a really nice job in the homes. And I think that's the main view that you're really supposed to see, not my landscaping. So this is low, front of the house is low. On a lot of these, we're using small ornamental trees just to soften the corner. Most of the rear terraces are getting another small ornamental tree. And then on open areas where I could, I added shade trees, larger shade trees. But the road itself will probably be mid-sized ornamental tree to look down the road. As Paul said, all of our stormwater is taken care of. We have also, along with the septic, we have underground infiltration systems to take all the water that's on the site plan. So those are fit into all these different areas of Bacchanalian properties also. Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. Go back to one thing. Go back to the first point again. I made one suggestion at the beginning. We're adding 4 streetlights. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're full cutoff. They're dark sky compliant. Probably going to go down to about 2,500, so it's not a bright light. They're on a 12-foot post. They're only going to illuminate. There's going to be no backwash from the light onto the property. They are only going to illuminate. We picked a photometrics or a beam. It's like a large oval. So as you pull down, you'll see this low light that will drag you through the development. Which I think is a really nice idea. So instead of just having the illumination on the units themselves, that road would be just illuminated. We haven't decided if they're going to be on all night. I guess not. They're probably going to be off at night. Yeah, we will. All right. Any questions on it?
Really, along River Road there, I know the rendering, you're trying to show the buildings. I see the rendering along River Road.
Yep.
You've got some big mature trees there. I can't.
I just had it on Street View.
Most of the trees not every single one, but most of the trees are on our property, but we're planning on leaving them all. I think that's gonna be as you're pulling up to the area, I think that's what's gonna catch your attention, because it's a great tree line street. That's a good picture you're great. That's what we want to do.
No.
I think that's the draw as you drive down. Used to be a field, now it's gonna be new homes. But those big trees are really important to leave.
For the canopy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Canopy,
yeah.
we're gonna definitely involve the cedar. I think there's one tree that I suggested. I'm not a big fan of choke cherry. Garbage tree. It's not on the state invasive list. I'd like to take the choke cherry down. Which I think is gonna only help us with the new trees. Look along here. These smaller trees are all new. So if there's a tree right here that's not in good shape, it's only gonna take some light from these evergreen trees, so that's the reason why I'm watching.
You're thinking red cedar, probably.
I think red cedar is running along River Road now, so I think it's probably the best choice, okay? Even if there are deer in the area, let the deer nibble at the bottom.
Yeah.
They've nibbled at the ones that are along River Road for the last 100 years, or however many trees are. So let's say they're 50 years old. They're only gonna nibble to where they can reach, and then the tree just grows up.
No, I like to see that.
John, you mentioned the stuff in the ground. You said there's a lot of ground, and that's why the houses have to be where they are. Explain why the houses on the river road are in such a line. Is that absolutely necessary?
Well, I don't think you're ever gonna see that they're in a line, because you're never gonna see them, you're never really gonna see them from River Road. You know, you're gonna have a lot of plant material in front of it, okay? So,
No, but even, and you'll see them when you're inside. So either way, what's the explanation?
well, I think
Why is,
being in line like this is gonna help quite a bit with these rear areas. We tried to make them private, okay? And without going into it, each of these units has a septic tank and 2 septic lines and a reserve field that has to be shown.
but the back units are not in line, which is good.
The back units are
Following the contour of the property line.
Yeah,
There's a setback and then there's septic.
There's something all in the front there, and they have to meet certain requirements off the property line and all that
Correct.
stuff, so.
that's what I meant by setting this house here. You're gonna see that all the different things that are going on is probably the reason why that house is there, and probably the reason why that house is there. And I don't think you're gonna see this line really. I think as you're pulling down the road, you're probably looking at not an exact, but a distance from the road to the garage, to the front of the house. It's gonna, I think, be better in a smaller situation like this than it is very similar to the general's residence. The units running along Boston Post Road and East Wharf Road are all the same distance run from the roads. They're in a line for a reason down there because it's the same thing.
I wish they would. I wish they would have more static.
If we had 20 more feet,
Yeah.
do it. Really,
Exactly.
you look at the civil drawings, you'll see.
But
Well, I'm sorry, but a septic could go in the front yard in some of those.
I think the septic is in the front yard.
No, it's not the ones on our side. They're all in the back.
Get a septic system.
They're all. Why couldn't this house be back further?
Because that's the setback. See, that's the building setback right here. Oh, you can't go back. Yeah, the septic has to go. If we push that.
Next. You probably couldn't have a variance for that.
You know we were.
Any other questions?
No, I think what we've done is from the public walking in, you know, those moments, it's kind of does minimize imagining what it'll there. You're going to see 6 houses. They're obviously all part of it. Part of what it is. Big ones on either end, you know, they're a different design, they're already in different.
Oh, I think
I think that the septic's on the between the house and the stone walls is the way to do it. So you get as much space there as you can. You know. I'm not concerned at all with the interior ones because it's not really what people will see or perceive. We all know when you take a piece of property that there's development. It's like the building you did on Wall Street, right? Looks like a monster the first year, and then a year later, everybody forgot. And actually, it's really great that it's a nice building. But it's great that it blocks the big hole that was in the ground there before. You know, so I mean, there's this psychological evolution though. I mean, just like every other
Change.
Yeah, that's right. It's just change. So,
Well, the intent of the development is to keep the feel of the area. I mean, to, you know, keep that kind of like an old mine feel, you know, like
yeah, you're kind of introducing a new aesthetic, but it's all working together. You know,
Where in Old Lyme what are you thinking of?
yeah, right.
Where in Old Lyme are you thinking of?
Stone walls and
yeah. I don't have like Ron mentioned the house
Not so
back
sure.
where I mean those are the ones that I would leave. I mean, I wouldn't if you were to adjust any density. I think the ones that aren't really apparent from the public way would be the ones to you know to be tighter together or whatever they have to be. But I also think that the fact that the underground infrastructure is so close to each other, I think it's what gives. And I think you may get, I don't know what Kings is going to say or anybody else, but I think it has a very engineered feel to it in the simple layout. I realize an awful lot of that is just because of the geometric restrictions that you have. But it's also a function of, you know, if you did lose one, it would give you some more freedom, you know, to vary it up. That's all. And I'm not suggesting.
It would give it would also give it a sense of more exclusivity.
That's true. Yeah.
Just from a visual point of view, people say, oh, yeah. Instead of, as Matt just said,
I would imagine at one point you discussed estate lots instead of this kind of a thing. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know that. I don't know if that would any different, better aesthetic.
I mean, you will have no problem selling it.
No,
I mean, that's not the issue.
And I'm really glad, actually. I mean,
That's not an issue.
But one of the things that it makes me happy is that you guys are doing this project and not, you know, developer from Middletown and his final boxes. You know, so I think that's a plus. For sure.
The focus is to put the quality into the buildings, you know, even though they're modestly sized.
Yeah,
No,
that's all good.
modest, small is good. Small is good.
I think there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people in Madison that are love to get out of their big houses and have a little smaller place. I think you're going to end up with a lot of Madison residents live
Oh,
here.
yeah,
I think so too.
I think that's a good thing to emphasize the planning and zoning, is that they are small. I think that's a really good
Oh, I
positive.
don't think that they'll ask for bigger
I mean, what's the development down the street that's 15 years old or whatever it is? When you go toward the highway there, there's some subdivision stopped and crashed, totally crashed, restarted 10 years later. They're big houses. You know,
So how does this work? The land is owned by the individual houses? Or is this lots, or is this a common?
It'll be a common interest property. It'll be like a condominium. People will own their own unit, And they're all.
But they're gonna have responsibility like for the backyard. and,
Yeah, so everything gets
it'll be an- yeah, we're gonna kind of divvy it up by somehow. Chris Ian's gonna work on
An
it.
HOA, right? I mean,
Yes.
So there are no internal property lines?
No.
Okay, so it's basically,
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
they're responsible for the house.
There'll be limited common areas.
I couldn't remember, I don't remember. Lost it, really.
Yeah.
Somebody wanna,
I'll make a motion to accept as presented. Is that correct? As presented?
Sounds good to me.
Is that way you're saying for
well, it's not gonna second.
You could set it in that session or not?
Well, how should we? Okay. Thank you. You wanna, what is,
What are your thoughts on?
I thought I'd expressed myself.
Or is there an emotion that can be crafted with some suggestions? That's.
Well, I would suggest that, I feel that, I think that you sort of hit the nail on the head when you said it looks like an engineer, especially the ones on the road. Looks more engineered than it does gracious. And, I think it's a gracious piece of property, and these houses look imposed on the property, and I wish there were less of it, for one thing. And I think that would help a lot. To add more space in here.
So if you're not going to second Peter's motion.
That's right.
All right, I'll second Peter's motion with the suggestion that if you eliminate a house or two, it would greatly improve your design flexibility to just create a little more variation.
I would suggest 2-1, I don't think.
Might be surprised, but
Well,
however many it is, I just think that I think that the volume of residences is, it's just kind of handcuffing the creative latitude, right? So that's my suggestion.
I think the style, the architectural style to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would agree. Yeah. I have just a comment. I mean, I have a much better understanding of what you're trying to do than I did when we started. So that's helpful. Yeah. And so before you jump in, so I made a second. Yeah. Is there anybody want to modify anything I said or add to try, subtract, or are you good?
No, what you're saying is great, but that's those were words because they're gonna go, there goes into the Senate.
Well, I know, it's our set of comments. That's what it is. That's all we have. That's all we have. We all know we all go home every month. It's a primarily waste of time.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
As advisory as we are. So if you want to read that back.
So Peter made a motion to approve and you seconded it and you said you'd like to see more space between by eliminating 1 or 2 homes.
That's a suggestion, yeah. We just think it would improve it. It would just give them more design flexibility, that's all.
Would get more design flexibility.
Yes.
I just want to say that even though the land layouts look very engineered across the town, the buildings themselves, that's right there. So I think it's hard to get your mind around. Okay, these rectangles, they all look the same, it looks very engineered, but if you look at the actual buildings and the dormers and the gable ends and how everything's configured, they're not at all.
Yeah, we understand.
I just want to make sure you're.
What I like about the sense that I have better now than I did is it's going to read like a row of 6 houses, not 8 from River Road. You've got the two different ones on the ends and so on. I think that's the point that we should be taking into
So we do
consideration.
have 35 feet in between each, which is.
Are you-
No, I know, and I'm looking at the rendering, and the rendering looks good. I'm imagining
Are
a
you
couple
done
of
with your
Johnson
motion?
sure trees there and some new cedars. And I
You
think
bet.
they look good. Yes,
In the middle of a discussion again, your motion.
I know I am.
Okay.
I'm not to be, and I just,
I know.
all right, so. Any other discussion on the motion? No, okay.
Other than I would modify one to several. But
No.
Okay, well, let's vote on the motion. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
See. Right. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. Yep. Are we done? What we gotta do?
I leave that.
We gotta make some minutes.
Penny for Thursday here.
Rushing is so
I
big old button.
agree. I agree. That's fine.
We just stick it in the corner or something.
John, when you're ready, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Thanks. I think I hope you read it.
Oh, wait, John did his job. Hold on. That was John. The minute. I'll approve the minutes. John made a motion.
John made a motion. Is there a second on John's motion? No, second.
I have a discussion on it.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks. Down here, on the very last thing, the discussions and erosion and restoration bonds. It's in the minutes, but has anybody discussed this anywhere?
Hold on. Well, I have a copy of the minutes.
This.
We've had a discussion. There's no that was just
I know, but there hasn't been
anything further, because we're gonna be working on the regulations at that point in time that we'll start talking.
Okay.
Yeah, but did you notice they did take the
Yes.
Right.
X.
Okay, so we approved our minutes.
Well, everybody gonna vote, right? Aye, John Johnson. Now we're good. Motion to adjourn.
Second, Peter's gonna second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
All right.
How can we? Well, we hate. We don't hate it, but what are you gonna? I hate this type of cluster housing. I'm, well, it's still, repetitive. It's still repetitive.
You can't.
It's still repetitive. No, what?
You can still vote.
It's so repetitive, even though it's, you know what I mean? It's like,
That's the problem. It's different. Those four houses, they're all under garages in the front. Sure, they're different styles, things that are.
well, they just variations on the lots.
No, it's like,
Well, it's clear that the directive was, I only want to build 3 different kinds, right? I think this thing, I really think it's a lot of, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of.
That's why
And that's why I started with that. You know, I mean, I said what I could say. I mean,
there's the
Hold on,
whole
stop.
stuff. I mean, I don't understand. We have the power to tell them you need to eliminate three of them.
yes, you do have the power to tell
Well,
them.
we could do that.
You can only advise.
What?
Cannot
I
say.
mean,
I would vote.
But I-
No, hold on. Guys,
It's better.
can you stop it?
Oh,
Oh,